What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So in this video, I did want to talk about the playlist because I was thinking about this for a minute. Now, I do feel like we're going to be getting new playlists probably in Season 6, or at least one of them. I actually do hope we actually do get more than one playlist because the game honestly does need it. But the thing is, though, I feel like getting a new playlist can be good for the game, but also bad in an aspect. Now, you might be wondering, well, what do you mean by that, Block? Well, here's the thing. We did end up getting the Made in Japan Volume 2, right? This actually brought us the Rivals game mode, which was really cool. Like, this entire concept was actually really awesome. Like, I thought it did really well. Players seemed to really enjoy it. And I would say it's going to be a good mix-up. Like, it adds a bunch more races technically to that playlist, which I do think the game definitely needs. On top of that, we also got the Chase Squad playlist, which was going to be the paid one. And I actually want to check the last race here. 59,000 players are actually ranked in the final event, which is honestly not that many, but the rivals were also connected to this, but you have to chase the rivals instead of race them. But here's the thing though, guys, we all do know we're going to be getting a new playlist in Season 6. I mean, that's going to be in March, I believe, something like that, right? That is probably going to be a new playlist themed around something like Alpha GP or Red Bull, or like the apparent rumor of that set update. But I'm going to guess right now and say we're probably going to get one playlist which is going to be focused on a racetrack, which I really do hope they actually give us a new racetrack. That would be very cool to have in that update instead of going back to the same racetrack we've already played on. But right here is going to be an example, guys. So there's a total of, what, 7 events in this? 8, something like that? And here's the thing that does actually concern me a bit, guys. So we do know we're probably going to be getting a new playlist based on Alpha GP. At least, that's the rumor I've heard basically everywhere. It's going to be a high possibility that we will get that. Is that really going to be a great thing to have in the game, though, having around 8 to 9 events in that playlist? And that is going to be the only form of new events for the next 3 to 4 months in that said season. The reason why I did actually want to mention this is I do feel like players are like, yo, guys, like, I really do like the playlist, but we can't be getting one playlist every 4 months. I do feel like it's just not going to be enough. Even 2 playlists might honestly not be enough. Like, a lot of players have already completed something like the Made in Japan Volume 2 already, and now they're pretty much going to move on. Like, here, you know what? Hitting this right here. So 399,000 people have done this playlist, that have done all the events, which is actually pretty dang incredible. But if you go over to the Chase Squad, though, and, well, go all the way down to this, guys, again, it's 59,000, which is a huge difference of players. That goes to show that a lot of players did not even buy the new actual Chase Squad playlist thing because they probably didn't even want it. And that was making me think, like, okay, so if we are getting a new playlist in the big Season 6 update, at least I'm calling it big, hoping that we're actually going to get like a big racetrack and all kinds of dope stuff that's going to be part of the big Red Bull thing. And you know what's funny about that is they could probably add some weird racetracks in the sky or something, or like add them into the map, similar to what we had in something like the Crew 2, and they added like the Forsberg tracks in there. A lot of those were actually added into the map as like something new. They could easily add some of those into Motorfest. I mean, we have like the drift tracks in the air and stuff. Why not have like some new racetracks for Alpha GP and all that, or even racing? I do feel like that's probably a high possibility in that update. And I'm going to say right now, again, though, if we have one playlist, I probably could say they could easily do 2 or 3 playlists with it and just have a bunch of events in there. That way players can do them. I really feel like that would be such a great way to do it, man. Legit, give us a big playlist, okay? Give us a big one with like all the new rivals and stuff like that. I feel like every season needs a big playlist like that because you're waiting 4 months in between each thing for the content to actually drop, and all you're going to get is a single playlist with like 7 or 8 events, man. How is that going to last a player like 4 months, bro? Like, I'm just asking legit valid questions here from something I've been seeing in Motorfest over the last year. Everybody has been playing this game and enjoying it, but we also have to look at some of the issues the game is facing, and sometimes I do feel like it can easily be fixed with a couple of things being added. Like, for example, guys, I always talk about like the races and all that and stuff, and if we're actually going to be getting a big Red Bull update, which actually I'm all for that, bro. Red Bull is absolutely insane. They could do stuff with planes and that. They could do Alpha GP, like motocross stuff. Red Bull is incredible. There's so many things involved in it. So I feel like they can actually add so much stuff into that update. Like, I know this is going to sound insane, but they can maybe add something like the Alpha GP thing I said. Add a motocross playlist in there with like actual racetracks around the map. Add some new plane events like the Red Bull planes and all that. Like, that'd be so cool, man. And the thing is, there's plenty of room around the map to do this stuff. This is also why I feel like if they were to add a new playlist into the game with something like the Made in Japan one and the new Chase Squad, like, you guys legit did so great with these playlists. I would love to see more of them. That would be so dang great. Like, I'm not expecting 3 of those every season, but give us a big playlist like that, then have like 2 or 3 small ones each month that just add a bunch of races around the map, man. They don't have to be connected to stuff. Players just want different races to do, and then guess what? All those new playlists can then actually go into something like PvP, and it's never ending in so many ways. A lot of players are going to enjoy it, and I feel like that's such a great way to do it. That's why I also was thinking about when I was doing this video, I'm like, wait a minute. So if we're actually thinking about this for a second, the new playlist coming to the game can be good, but also really bad though. If we're only going to be getting a single playlist with 8 to 9 events in it, going to have some regular side activities and some challenges in it, guess what? From what I have seen, a lot of players seem to be done with the playlist in around 1 to 2 hours, and that's on average, by the way. I did notice doing all the events is probably going to be, what, like 45, maybe 50 minutes or something, maybe an hour or so, like if you go through them, how long the races are and all that. So I would say, yeah, there's going to be new events, but if you could do everything in that playlist in legit an hour, why is a player going to come back in and do the playlist again? Like, they're not going to have special bonuses on them. They don't pay all that much money in most of the events. So a lot of players are trying to make a bit more money a tad quicker, so they go into grand races. I just feel like, guys, if we're going to have new playlists in the game, they can make them so dang good, man. They legit could. Like, they can add more races. The rivals thing is so smart because of a few things. I actually did make a video about this, which I will leave a tag on the screen for. But they could legit have around 20 new events or like random events with other drivers around the map. That could be a great way to make the playlist feel a lot bigger. That way, if we're not going to have an entire playlist based around Street Tier 2 again, we can actually have, again, planes. Like, for example, guys, the Red Bull playlist, they actually don't have to add, like, 15 playlists into the game. No, they can probably add 2 big ones, have the rivals in there, have, like, a part with motocross, have a part with planes, have a part with boats, have a part with, like, drift cars or something. Even monster trucks, man. Like, anything can be in there. Have a few playlists like that in the big Red Bull update, and boom, there's a ton of new events there. You're actually going to have 4 new monster truck events. You could even have something like 4 or 5 new motocross events in there. Have like the main events mixed up. Like, man, I'm probably ranting right now, guys, but that's just me caring, bro. Like, I see so much potential in these games, and I feel like they could truly do it. And I also feel like at the same time, some of these things are really being overlooked. But overall, though, I am curious to know what y'all think about this in the comments below. Are you also really curious to know what they are going to be bringing in Season 6? I do feel like, guys, they can easily mix around the playlist a lot to really cater to everything. The biggest question is, though, will they actually add, like, new racetracks and all that stuff and new events? And then on top of that, though, adding 1 or 2 big playlists into the game that are similar to the Made in Japan Volume 2 playlist, where it's actually going to cater to multiple different classes. That would legit be so dang amazing. Again, let me know what y'all think about this in the comments below.